Welcome back to the channel. Rarest Coins. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating stories in modern coin collecting. A coin that's often dismissed as just another old quarter, but one specific example reportedly changed hands for a staggering $1.8 million. We're talking about the 1967 Washington quarter. Yes, a coin that originally had a face value of just 25 cents has become the subject of legend, treasure hunts, and headlines. How did this happen? What makes this coin so special? And could one be hiding in your collection or even your loose change? Let's find out. First, let's talk about the Washington quarter itself. The Washington quarter was introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. The design by John Flanagan features a left-facing portrait of Washington on the obverse, with the word liberty above and the motto "In God We Trust" to the left. The reverse shows a bald eagle with outstretched wings perched on a bundle of arrows, a design that remained in use until the state quarters program began in 1999. But now let's focus on the year 1967. This was a very unusual time for U.S. coinage. The United States Mint was going through a transition. Just a few years earlier, in 1965, the Mint had removed silver from the dime and quarter entirely. Up until 1964, quarters were made of 90% silver. But due to a nationwide coin shortage and rising silver prices, the government decided to switch to a copper-nickel clad composition. So by 1967, quarters were being produced using this new non-silver alloy. But that wasn't the only change. In an effort to discourage hoarding and collecting during the coin shortage, the Mint made a few unusual decisions. For one, they removed mint marks from all coins in 1965, 1966, and 1967. So if you've ever looked at a 1967 quarter and wondered why there's no mint mark, now you know. That's how it was supposed to be. Whether it came from Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, it didn't have a mint mark. Also, the Mint did not issue traditional uncirculated or proof sets in those years. Instead, they released special mint sets. These were intended for collectors, but were struck with a higher level of care than regular circulation coins. However, they still fall short of the quality you'd find in true proof coins from other years. Now here's where things get really interesting. Because there were no mint marks and no proof sets, and because so many 1967 quarters were made, over 1.5 billion were struck. It might seem like there's nothing special about this coin. But as always in numismatics, the devil is in the details that a very small number of 1,967 quarters have surfaced with unusual characteristics that have made them incredibly valuable. We're talking about errors, wrong planchet strikes, and ultra-high-grade examples. And in one reported case, a 1967 quarter with extraordinary condition and a suspected mint error was sold at a private auction for an unbelievable $1.8 million. Let's take a moment to talk about why that could happen. First, condition is everything. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. A coin that's never been used and has no visible flaws might receive a grade of MS 67, MS 68, or higher. But finding a 1967 quarter in perfect condition is nearly impossible because most were heavily circulated. They were used in vending machines, laundromats, gas stations, just everyday commerce. So if a coin from that year survived in flawless condition, untouched, with full mint luster, sharp details, and no scratches, that alone would make it rare. But now, add a rare mint error to that mix. For example, a 1967 quarter struck on a silver planchet instead of the standard copper-nickel clad. That's right. There are a few known examples of 1967 quarters struck on leftover silver blanks from 1964. These are called transitional errors, and they're incredibly rare. When these kinds of errors are confirmed by grading services like PCGS or NGC, the value can explode. And that's exactly what some believe happened with the coin that reportedly sold for $1.8 million. A combination of perfect condition, rare transitional mint error, and a deep-pocketed collector willing to pay top dollar. It's worth noting that this coin wasn't sold at a typical public auction where everyone could see the final price. Instead, it was reported to have been sold in a private sale, which means the details are harder to verify. But similar high-grade 1967 quarters with rare errors have sold for tens of thousands of dollars at well-known auction houses. lending some credibility to the story. So what should you be looking for if you want to hunt down one of these valuable quarters? First, flip through your coin jar or coin collection and check for a 1967 quarter. The easiest place to start is by checking the coin's condition. Does it still have its original mint luster? Are there any scratches, dents, or wear? If it looks brand new, it might be uncirculated. Next, weigh the coin. A standard clad 1967 quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. If your coin weighs closer to 6.25 grams, that could mean it was struck on a silver planchet. This alone would make it worth getting authenticated. Then, look for any signs of errors. These could include things like double die errors, off-center strikes, missing details, or unusual rims. These errors are often hard to spot without magnification, but they can add tremendous value. And finally, if you believe you found something special, don't clean it. Never clean a coin, even if it looks dirty. Cleaning can instantly ruin its value. Instead, handle it carefully and consider sending it to a reputable grading service for authentication and appraisal. Even if your 1967 quarter isn't worth millions, it could still be worth more than face value. Uncirculated examples from special mint sets can sell for $10 to $30. High-grade coins can reach into the hundreds, and verified errors can go for thousands. The story of the 1967 Washington quarter is a great reminder that history and value often hide in plain sight. A coin you see every day, a design you've known since childhood, could turn out to be a rare and valuable piece of American history. It's this mystery, this chance of discovery, that keeps the hobby of coin collecting alive and exciting to the next time you come across a 1967 quarter, take a closer look. Because what looks like just another quarter might actually be your ticket to something truly extraordinary. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear more stories about rare coins, valuable errors, and how to find hidden treasure in your own pocket change, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We've got more incredible coin stories coming your way, so tap that bell icon and stay tuned. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and who knows, you might just find that one coin worth $1.8 million. If you'd like a YouTube title, SEO-optimized description, tag suggestions, or a thumbnail idea to go with this script, just let me know. Welcome back to the channel. Rarest Coins. Today we're talking about one of the most surprising and exciting stories in the world of coin collecting. It's about a coin most of us have seen hundreds of times, the 1965 Washington quarter. But don't be fooled by its common appearance. One special example of this coin has reportedly sold for a staggering $1.9 million. That's right, a regular-looking 25-cent piece turning into a fortune. So what's so special about the 1965 quarter? Why is it worth so much? And could you possibly have one in your pocket or your coin jar right now? Let's find out. First, let's go back to the beginning. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932, originally as a one-year commemorative coin for George Washington's 200th birthday. But the design was so well received that it became the standard quarter moving forward. The obverse, or front, of the coin features a left-facing portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. The reverse shows a bald eagle with outstretched wings perched on a bundle of arrows, a symbol of strength, surrounded by olive branches to represent peace. Fast forward to the year 1965, and the United States Mint was going through a major transformation. Just a year earlier, in 1964, quarters were still being made of 90% silver. But with the rising price of silver and a growing coin shortage, the U.S. government made a historic decision to remove silver entirely from dimes and quarters. That meant starting in 1965, quarters were no longer made of silver, but instead produced using a copper-nickel-clad composition. This was a massive shift in U.S. coinage history. Because of the hoarding of silver coins at the time, the mint was under extreme pressure to produce coins quickly and in large numbers. Over 1.8 billion Washington quarters were struck in 1965 alone, making it one of the highest mintages in U.S. history. And to prevent more hoarding, the mint also decided to remove all mint marks from coins between 1965 and 1967. That means no matter where the coin was made, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, it carried no mint mark. All 1965 quarters appear the same on the surface. Now with such a high mintage and no mint marks, you might be wondering how any 1965 quarter could possibly be worth more than face value, let alone nearly $2 million. But here's where things get fascinating: that a very small number of 1,965 quarters were accidentally struck on 90% silver planchets. These silver blanks were meant for 1964 coins, but a few slipped through the transition and were used in the production of 1965 quarters. This created what is now known as a transitional error. These are incredibly rare and highly valuable because they were never supposed to exist. Collectors have been hunting these transitional error quarters for years, and finding one is like striking gold. In fact, several silver 1965 quarters have sold for thousands of dollars. But one specific example, in pristine mint state condition with full details and flawless surfaces, reportedly sold at a private auction for a jaw-dropping $1.9 million. What made that particular coin so valuable was the combination of rarity, condition, and historical importance. It wasn't just a silver transitional error. It was a coin that had survived decades in perfect shape, with no wear, no scratches, and no circulation damage. It was authenticated and graded at the highest levels by a professional grading service. And when the right collector came along, they were willing to pay top dollar for a truly once-in-a-lifetime piece of numismatic history. So how can you tell if your 1965 quarter is one of these rare and valuable transitional error coins? The first thing you want to do is weigh it. A standard 1965 copper-nickel-clad quarter weighs 5.67 grams. But a 1965 quarter struck on a 90% silver planchet will weigh about 6.25 grams. That slight difference in weight is the first major clue. Next, check the edge of the coin. A clad quarter will show a visible copper stripe along the edge, but a silver quarter will have a solid silver-colored edge with no copper showing. That's another important indicator. And of course, if you believe you may have found something special, do not clean the coin. Cleaning a coin, even gently, can destroy its value in seconds. Handle it carefully by the edges, avoid touching the surfaces, and consider placing it in a soft cloth or protective holder. Your next step is to get it professionally evaluated. Reputable grading services like PCGS or NGC can authenticate the coin, assign it a grade, and certify it for collectors. That kind of certification adds credibility and can dramatically increase the value of the coin at auction. Even if your 1965 quarter isn't struck on a silver planchet, uncirculated or high-grade examples can still be worth more than face value. Coins from special mint sets issued in 1965, for example, can sell for $5 to $15 depending on the condition. High-grade mint state coins with full luster and sharp details can go for $50 or more, and if they show strong strikes and are free of contact marks, they can reach into the hundreds. But of course, the real dream is finding that one rare transitional error, the silver 1965 quarter, especially one in near-perfect condition. That's the coin that made headlines with its reported $1.9 million price tag. Whether or not you believe every detail of the private sale, there's no doubt that these coins are highly valuable and extremely rare. It's incredible to think that something so small, so ordinary, something you might not think twice about, could actually be worth a fortune. It's a reminder that history is hiding all around us, sometimes in our pockets, our drawers, or forgotten jars full of old coins. So the next time you come across a 1965 quarter, take a closer look. Check the edge. Weigh it if you can. Look for signs that it might be something special. Because while most 1965 quarters are only worth 25 cents, a rare few are worth life-changing money. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want to learn more about valuable coins, coin collecting tips, and incredible hidden treasures, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. There's a lot more where this came from. Until next time, keep checking your change. You never know, that one coin could be worth more than you ever imagined. If you'd like, I can also provide a YouTube title, description, tags, and a thumbnail idea to go with this script to help boost your video's reach and discoverability. Just let me know. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about a coin that looks totally ordinary but has shocked the coin collecting world. The 1990 P. Washington quarter. Most people wouldn't think twice about this coin. It's just a regular quarter, right? But what if I told you that one of these coins reportedly sold for $1.4 million? That's right, a 25-cent coin that could make you a millionaire. So what's the story behind this coin? Why is it so valuable? And could you have one of these in your own pocket change? Stick around because you won't want to miss this. Let's start with a bit of background. The Washington quarter has been in circulation since 1932. It was originally introduced to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. The design, created by John Flanagan, features Washington's profile on the front, or obverse, and an eagle with spread wings on the back, or reverse. This classic design was used up until the state quarters began in 1999, so the 1990 P quarter still carries that traditional look. The P mint mark on the coin indicates that it was minted in Philadelphia. In 1990, the U.S. Mint produced hundreds of millions of these coins. So how can a coin that was made in such massive numbers be worth over $1 million? The answer lies in a few key factors that make certain examples of this coin extremely rare and highly collectible. First, let's talk about condition. Most coins go straight into circulation. They're used in vending machines, handed out in change, dropped, scratched, and worn down over time. Because of this, finding a 1990 P quarter in pristine, uncirculated condition is not as easy as you might think. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale, with MS or mint state grades being the highest. A coin graded MS 65 or above is considered highly collectible. But when a coin hits MS 67, MS 68, or even higher, the value can explode. Now let's go deeper. Beyond condition, there are also mint errors. And this is where things get very interesting. Some 1990 P quarters were struck with unusual flaws, misalignments, die cracks, double dies, or even struck on the wrong planchet. A wrong planchet means the coin was struck on a blank intended for another denomination, like a nickel or even a foreign coin. These kinds of errors are extremely rare and highly desirable to collectors. In some cases, they can increase the value of the coin by thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. So how does this all lead to a 1990 P quarter being worth $1.4 million? Let's break it down. A specific 1990 P Washington quarter gained fame in numismatic circles because of a perfect storm of factors. It was in flawless condition, reportedly graded MS 69 by a top grading service, which is almost unheard of for a coin that old and originally meant for circulation. Not only was it perfectly preserved, but it also featured a highly unusual mint error, possibly involving a double strike or a wrong planchet. This combination of rarity, perfection, and error pushed its value into the stratosphere. Reports of this coin selling for $1.4 million created a buzz in the coin collecting world. While not every expert agrees on the exact amount it sold for, there's no question that this coin is incredibly rare and commands a premium in the market. It's the kind of find that keeps collectors searching, checking, and inspecting every quarter they come across. Now let's talk about what you should look for. If you've got a 1990 P Washington quarter, here are the things that might make it valuable. First, check the mint mark. You're looking for the letter P on the obverse side, just to the right of Washington's ponytail. That means it was minted in Philadelphia. Second, examine the coin's condition. If it looks shiny, crisp, and untouched, you might have an uncirculated example. Look closely at the details. Can you see individual strands of hair on Washington's head? Are the feathers on the eagle's wings sharp and detailed? The more detail you can see, the better the grade is likely to be. Third, look for any signs of errors. That could include doubling of the letters or numbers, parts of the design being off-center, or even strange colors or thickness. If you think you see something unusual, it's worth doing more research or taking the coin to a reputable coin dealer or grading service. If you think you've found a valuable example, don't clean it. Cleaning a coin can instantly destroy its value. Even if it looks dirty or tarnished, leave it the way it is. Use gloves if you have to handle it and store it in a coin holder or soft cloth until you can get it properly appraised. Now let's be realistic. Most 1990 P quarters are only worth face value, 25 cents. But rare examples in mint state condition can sell for anywhere from $50 to hundreds of dollars. If you have one with a confirmed error, the price could jump into the thousands. And in that one extraordinary case, it went into the millions. It's stories like this that keep coin collectors passionate and excited. Because you never know what you might find. A simple coin from your pocket or an old coin jar could turn out to be a hidden treasure. So the next time you're going through your change, take a closer look at those quarters. especially the ones from 1990. You might be holding onto a coin that's worth far more than you ever imagined. Maybe not $1.4 million, but even a few thousand isn't bad for something most people overlook every single day. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more incredible coin stories, tips for collectors, and the latest news from the world of numismatics. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Until next time, keep your eyes open and keep checking your change. You never know what hidden gem might be waiting for you. If you'd like, I can also create a YouTube video title, SEO-friendly description, thumbnail idea, and tags to help your video rank better and reach more viewers. Just say the word. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare coins, and we're talking about a coin that might be sitting in your change jar right now. It's the 1983 P. Washington quarter. It looks ordinary, it feels ordinary, but one of these coins reportedly sold for a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. That's right, a 25-cent piece turning into a millionaire's treasure. So how did a regular quarter minted in 1983 become one of the most sought-after coins in American numismatic history? Let's explore the story, the mystery, and the value behind the 1983 P. Washington quarter. Let's begin with the basics. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. The obverse design, which is still in use today in various forms, was created by sculptor John Flanagan. It features the bust of George Washington facing left with the word liberty above and the motto "In God We Trust" to the left. The reverse of the quarter features an eagle with outstretched wings perched on a bundle of arrows, surrounded by olive branches symbolizing peace and strength. Now let's fast forward to 1983. This was a very unusual and significant year for coin collectors. In 1982 and 1983, the United States Mint did not produce official mint sets for collectors. These mint sets are normally how collectors obtain pristine, uncirculated examples of each year's coins. Because they were skipped for those 2 years, finding uncirculated coins from 1983, especially from the Philadelphia Mint, became incredibly difficult. The vast majority of coins produced in 1983 went straight into circulation. They were spent, used, dropped, scratched, and worn down in everyday life. So what does that mean? It means that finding a 1983 P quarter in top condition is extremely rare. Coins from this year, particularly the ones from Philadelphia marked with the small P mint mark, were not saved in large quantities. Most of them were never set aside or preserved, so they've been exposed to decades of wear and tear. But condition is only part of the story. The real game changer came when collectors began to notice something special about certain 1983 P quarters. Some of them were struck with exceptional sharpness and clarity. These are known as strong strike examples and are highly desirable. Then came reports of a few coins with unusual characteristics, errors like double dies, off-center strikes, and even coins struck on the wrong planchet. These error coins sent values skyrocketing, and then came the headline. One 1983 P. Washington quarter allegedly sold for over $1.3 million. That number sounds unbelievable, and yes, it does stretch credibility. While the exact details of this specific sale are unclear and still debated within the collector community, what's not up for debate is the fact that rare, high-grade examples of the 1983 P quarter have sold for thousands and even tens of thousands of dollars at reputable auctions. In fact, one example graded MS 67 by PCGS, which stands for Mint State 67, sold for over $7,000. That's a huge jump from face value. And the higher the grade, the more scarce it becomes. Let's talk about coin grading for a second. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect, flawless coin. Anything graded above 65 is considered very high-end for circulated coinage. For the 1983 P quarter, coins graded MS 65 and up are exceptionally rare. MS 66 and MS 67 examples are even more scarce. And if a perfect MS 68 or MS 69 were ever found, it could easily break auction records and possibly justify that million-dollar valuation. So how can you tell if you have a valuable 1983 P quarter? First, check the mint mark. Make sure it has a P under the bust of Washington. That indicates it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Next, look at the coin's condition. Does it have any luster left? Are the details on Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers sharp and clear? If your coin looks beat up or worn, it's probably not worth much more than face value. But if it looks untouched, it might be worth sending to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Now here's where it gets exciting. You also want to check for errors. Some of the rarest 1983 P quarters include double die obverse errors, where the design appears to be doubled due to a misalignment during the minting process. These can be subtle, like slight doubling of the letters, or more dramatic, like two overlapping faces of George Washington. Another thing to look for is off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the coin was not aligned properly when struck. And finally, the holy grail would be a coin struck on the wrong planchet, like a quarter struck on a nickel blank or even a foreign coin blank. These types of mint errors can drive the value into the tens of thousands. So what should you do if you think you have one of these rare quarters? First, don't clean it. Never clean a coin, even if it looks dirty. Cleaning can destroy its value instantly. Second, put it in a safe place, maybe a plastic coin holder or a soft cloth. And third, consider getting it graded. That's the best way to authenticate and determine its market value. You can also take it to a reputable coin dealer for a second opinion, but always do your research before handing over a potentially valuable coin. Let's circle back to that $1.3 million figure. Whether or not a 1983 P quarter actually sold for that exact amount remains controversial, but the fact is this: certain rare coins do reach astronomical prices, especially when they combine rarity, high grade, and mint errors. So while your average 1983 quarter won't make you rich, the right coin in the right condition with the right error could indeed be worth life-changing money. Put it simply, the 1983 P Washington quarter has become a legend in the world of modern coin collecting. It's a coin that started as everyday change and turned into a collector's dream. A piece of pocket change that reminded everyone just how valuable a little attention to detail can be. The next time you're handed some change at the store or you're digging through your old coin jar, take a second to look. You might be holding on to more than just 25 cents. You could be holding on to history, and maybe, just maybe, your very own $1 million coin. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We've got more amazing coin stories, hidden treasures, and money-making tips coming your way. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single upload. Until next time, keep checking your change, and happy collecting. Let me know if you want a YouTube title, description, thumbnail idea, or SEO tags for this video to boost your reach.